Greetings to all, and we appreciate your attendance today. So, let's kickstart our session with a quotation by David Viscott. To love and to be loved is the feel of the sun from the both sides. True partnership in marriage is not about finding someone to live with, but finding someone you can grow with. So, in today's session, we will explore how understanding and nurturing your life companion can transform your relationship, fostering deeper connection, trust, and love. A very good evening to all the guests and dignitaries. In this capacity, as your host for the worldwide webinar on understanding your life companion and effective ways to strengthen marital relationship, I, Devanjali, the host, would like to take this opportunity to extend a hearty greetings to each and every one of you. It gives me a great pleasure to extend a warm hello to each and every one of you gathered here today. It is a great honor for us to have someone for this caliber here whose involvement on this topic adds so much value. In today's webinar, Understanding Your Life Companion, Effective Ways to Strengthen Marital Relationship, focuses on the vital elements that makes a marriage thrive. We will explore how understanding each other's needs, communicating openly, and fostering deeper connection. So today's webinar, Understanding Your Life Companion, effective ways to strengthen marital relationship, focuses on the vital elements that makes a marriage thrive. So we will explore how understanding each other's needs, communicating openly, and fostering emotional intimacy can deepen our connection. Strengthening a marital life, as we know that, as I said earlier, isn't about just overcoming challenges, but actively investing in love, respect, and shared growth. So, by this end of this session, I can assure you all that you will gain practical insights and strategies to strengthen your connection, deepen your partnership, and create a future built on mutual understanding and support. Before I start, I will proceed by give a brief moment for the introduction of my organization, SEMS Fair Organization. So SEMS Welfare Organization, it is a registered non-profit organization and is dedicated to social impact across various sectors. We focus on education, particularly skill development and entrepreneurship. Through our initiative, DG Sakham, we have created training programs in IT, finance, retail, and entrepreneurship impacting over 6,000 individuals. We are currently upskilling inmates in Haryana jails and collaborating with universities and colleges. We have also partnered with banks to place over 1,500 candidates in jobs. FAME leads another SEMS initiatives empower women through workshops and stories of successful female entrepreneurs. We conduct programs on digital literacy, marketing, and career development, which reaching over 1,000 women across multiple states. This initiative recently reached a milestone of 100 women actively involved. In just a short time, SEMS has established itself as a force for positive change, equipping individuals with skills for employment and promoting women's leadership in various industries. Now, let me take this wonderful occasion to publicly present and welcome Dr. N. Safreen, the keynote speaker for today's webinar. Dr. N. Safreen is an assistant professor in the Department of English at Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. She earned her PhD in English from Stella Maris College, Chennai, and specializes in both academic and non-academic writing and publishing. Her diverse areas of interest include psychology, journalism, autobiography, Bhakti literature, Indian literature, feminism, women's writing, autoethnography, business English, and life writing. In addition to her academic role, she works as a freelance soft skill trainer, providing training to college students and offer corporate English language training to IT companies. Dr. Safreen is also highly skilled in content writing and development. Her research has been published in renowned journals such as Indian Literature of Sahitya Academy, Shod Sanchar, and Kanpur Philosophers. She serves as a member of the editorial board for several literary journals, including Literary Voice and World Journal of English Literature. Dr. Safreen has presented her research at numerous national and international conferences and seminars. Her creative work, including short stories, articles, and poems, have been featured in Kitab, Indian Periodical, and Indiana. Beyond her academic and professional achievements, she also has a passion for calligraphy. So, after hearing all this about a respected speaker, I can say only one line that there are many gems and diamonds in the world, and I think one of them is here with us today to build this event more eventful. With this note, I, Debanjali, on the behalf of SEMS Welfare Foundation, would like to give my heartiest welcome to Dr. N. Safreen ma'am with a huge round of applause for joining us today. Your presence has added to the significance of this event, ma'am, and we are genuinely honored to have you here.
Okay, thank you, Debanjali, for that warm introduction. Thanks for having me. I also thank Lakshmi ma'am and the SEMS Foundation for once again having me here. It's our second collaboration, and it's really great to see so many people taking out their time and joining us today. So, without much further ado, let me just start my presentation. So, checking once again if my PPT is visible. With that, I can actually go ahead. I hope so.
Yes,
Can
ma'am, it is visible.
slide changing as well, right? Can you see? I'm just changing the slides. Is it reflecting there?
I think no, it is on the first slide only.
Oh, okay. But because I'm moving to the other slide,
Yes, now it's
I don't
all
know
right, ma'am.
why.
Now slide
Again, can you
changing is
check?
visible.
Can you check now?
It is okay, ma'am, right now.
Yeah,
Okay. So, okay, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you so much.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Like पूरे वीडियो
in
तो
case if it is not changing or if it's
मेरे
getting
restart
stuck, please let me know so that I can change it. We know we are here to discuss about I think a very interesting and also a much needed topic, I think, for the times being, because somewhere I feel everywhere I look around, there's a lot of news that I hear about separation between couples, a lot of hatred, and what was supposed to be an institution, marriage, we call it as an institution, right? So, what was supposed to be something which should be put together in terms of love, where love should be the foundation. On the other way, there's so many conflicts, so many issues that actually keep driving couples apart, and which is not actually a very good thing to hear and see in this world where we find negativity to be the most fast spreading thing. I find marital relationship is something where it spreads a lot of positivity, because from my personal experience, I would say if I see loving couples, especially in their old age, if I see them, no, it's a sight to behold for me. Because I think even one of the Tamil movies called Irugapatru, if someone knows Tamil and they would watch that movie, we'll definitely know. I think many movies have been, focusing on the need to strengthen this marital bond, which is very important in sowing seeds for a healthy family system. Only when the family system is healthy, the society would be in progressive nature. The society will start advancing, because I believe it's the families that constitute the societies, right? It's the micro form of the country operating within. Once you have beautiful families strengthened by love, I think that will give way to better societies, and better societies to ultimately will impact the welfare of the country in a positive way. So, having said this, one thing that kept me thinking when I used to see couples, especially who would have successfully lived together for like 50 years or 60 years, it's something that is, I find, very very interesting, as well as something which is a great achievement, I would say. Probably these days we might think about someone who's achieved a lot in terms of academic inputs, or achieving something in your personal or professional front. That's fine. We celebrate a person who's like achieved a lot when it comes to the professional domain. But what about couples who have, a person who successfully traveled with his or her partner for a long time, maybe for 5 plus 6 decades together, and still going strong, having a lot of memories, sharing a lot of stories, sharing joy and sorrow together, and navigating the life, so-called life, which I can say a journey together, with lot of twists and turns and uncertainties. Sometimes we know what is going to happen next is something we can't forecast, something we can't predict, right? It's somewhat like this climate, I would say. But in this most unpredictable journey, uncertain journey, we have someone who can travel with us, someone who can understand us, hold our hands, and we can go ahead in this journey, is something I consider the most beautiful. And if you are able to achieve it for a long time till you live in this world, of course, There's something called death, which will definitely take one person away from the other. We are very familiar with this quote, till death do us apart, right? So, of course, that is there and that is something unavoidable. But till then, till we live our life, till we have that person for us, till we are in that person's life as a partner, what really makes it beautiful, what really makes it meaningful is something which will actually define the kind of person we are and the kind of meaning we give to our lives. So, having said this, let's see what are the ways in which we can make this relationship, which is one of the most important relationship, I would say, because of course we are born in this world, we have our parents, then we have our siblings, we have our cousins, friends. We go out and make a lot of relationships, and we are born with relationships, right? No one is isolated. But amidst all this relationship, this person called the so-called partner, the husband or the wife, with whom we have actually start living life together, who travels with us for more number of years, many number of years, is something which will impact our lives. See, it can either make or break our lives, having, this kind of a relationship. I could say it's quote like many of us would have heard about. And if it doesn't turn out well, or rather if efforts are not taken to work on this relationship, it can definitely be a very, it can bring out a negative impact on our lives. It can personally hit us hard, or if we take effort, if we build it properly, if we make it more strong, it can come out with beautiful results in our life. So it's in our hands, and the way we work on it definitely brings out a huge difference, and will also be something which will inspire others, probably those who are planning to get married or those who are observing this institution of marriage itself. Because these days we are living in a world of pluralities. More than marriage, there are many institutions that are coming up to define relationship, to define companionship. And in my personal experience, when I talk to young girls, I had this chance of mentoring some of them, not just academically or professionally, but also personally, if I could go and give them some advice, or if I could hear their stories, what these girls, mostly girls, would say, they're a little worried or scared of even getting married because what they see around them is a failed institution. Marriage becomes a failed institution for them because maybe there is some error or something that they see within their parents where they find it very scary. It's not working for their parents, it hasn't worked for their friends or other family members, and they're a little scared to take this up and go ahead. Probably they have a lot of questions in mind, they have a lot of fears and worries, or they don't have the confidence whether they can take up this journey with another person, and whether they can, take it forward in a positive way, or whether it will turn out in the way they expect. So I have heard about this from girls, and I have spoken to them. I've helped them to see the positive side of marriage, and I've made them, rather I've enabled them to see, the best colors one can see in this whole organization. I would say, why is marriage called an institution or an organization? Any institution has rules, regulations, it operates properly, there are some expectations. But when it comes to marriage, probably we call it as an institution, but we don't take it seriously like an institution, right? There are times we take our partners for granted, there are times we don't consider certain things that has to be done for them, there are times we fail to take effort, or we don't take effort purposely. So all these little things, at the end of the day, it boils down to these little things which are not taken seriously. And all these little things add up. And finally, maybe after years of being together, even after 10 years, 20 years plus of being together, there are couples who decide to divorce. They decide to separate. Sometimes I used to wonder, how is it possible? You live with this person for 20 plus years, 30 years together. Can you think of a life without that person? Of course, if death is going to be something that comes and takes them one person away, it's understood. There has to be a coping up mechanism, coping up with the grief and moving ahead. But otherwise, why would they willingly take this decision to, take divorce and move ahead? And, what is really working behind it? Or what is the reason behind all this? Because after spending so many years, did it even really turn out to be meaningful for them? Have they, no, I haven't moved the slides yet. I'll be moving. Thanks for that reminder. So, have they really worked on it? What is the effort they haven't taken? Or what is literally gone wrong? So, these were the things that used to go in my mind. And I felt it was, it's a need of the hour, especially for married couples, to just take a pause, take a moment, and reflect on how have they been? What is their role as a partner? What they have done? What has been done? What can be done? or what should not be done to make this relationship more meaningful and stronger. So why focus on marital relationship at this point of time? Definitely the few things that I have already discussed. Definitely family is a very, very important component, and family has to perform certain things which will affect or which will impact the betterment of the society. A loving family is definitely built because of a loving husband and wife. It's very important that the couple in that family have to be loving and affectionate towards each other, should be sharing the true love because their children are watching them, right? Family is husband, wife, and children. Of course, there are extended family members. If it's a joint family, yes. But the basic thing is the family has to be strong, and it can be done only when the partners are truly in love with each other. There's a lot of respect. There's a lot of a relationship which is based on respect, trust, and love. And this will impact the way a family functions. And good families lead to good societies, and that will definitely have a positive impact on the way our country is definitely performing. Because the way children are brought up, you see, not just the academic part, I would say, the way they are raised, the emotional part is definitely something that comes from the family, right? The values they imbibe, the way they learn to respect people or treat people, or how they behave, everything starts from the family. And the first role model for any child is definitely their parents. So the child is observing. This is called social modeling, right? How to behave, how to talk, everything the child learns from the parents. So very recently also I came through this in one of the reels in Insta. It talks about how they give an advice to current age fathers saying that the only way to raise your child as a sympathetic or a good human being is to massively love and respect your wife, because the child sees the mother as a savior. The child is attached to the mother, so it observes the way the dad treats the mom. So similarly with mom and dad, how they share a loving bond is something that the children are actually observing. And that's where they pick out the values, and that's where they learn a lot, and they start spreading those values, and it shapes their behavior psychologically, emotionally. Everywhere you see the impact is starting from the way the parents behave. So it's very important we are being observed. That's one thing I would say. So in an institution, if you see, it's, as I told you, it has its own rules, regulations. Yes, it's also being something that is observed. Marriage is something which is public. It's being observed. People watch you. People observe you. Your own children are observing you as to how you behave with your partner. And even if they don't say it out outwardly, there are a lot of observations that happen. And if you see, the way they grow up is influenced by the way the parents actually behave in front of their children. But when true love and affection is being showed, between the partners, this child starts learning the value of true love, and it's being raised as a very empathetic person. And in future the child will take it as a role model. And even when the child grows to be a young adult and then goes on to decide to get married, again the same thing will be transferred. That love, affection transfers from one set of couples to the other. So this is how you can actually start understanding the importance of marriage as such. And that's why I've put in this point, raising children in an efficient way. Because I would say raising kids is a teamwork. It's not just the work of the mother alone. So it's like both mom and dad coming together. And you can't be good team players if you don't, really show that kind of relationship, attachment with your own teammate, with your life mate, life partner, right? So as a life partner, if you see, at many instances you two will come together. The husband and wife comes together to do many things, raising children or taking decisions, or taking important life decisions, or when it comes to career, personal life, so many other things. They have to put their heads together and decide something. So it's just a lot of teamwork happening. So when you are in a team, you don't see yourself as different from the other. You always want the team to win. You have a goal, right? It's not your goal, it's the goal of the team. So same way married couples should be a team always, and there should be a goal they have which they should accomplish together. So there is not, of course there will be individual goals, individual career aspirations, dreams, which is completely fine. But then at the end, it's to see each other faring well, each other supporting each other in their goals and achievements, and together see the family thrive and flourish. So I've moved to the next slide. We are going to focus on what are the ways in which we are going to build this kind of an effectiveness when it comes to marital relationship. The first one I put here is communication. If you can see, communication is something very basic, and I think it is a key to success, I would say, both in personal and professional life. You can't succeed in life without communicating properly. It's not that you have everything in your mind, everything in your thoughts, but you're not able to translate them into words and put it across to the other person. How would you express your feelings? How would you show that you have certain feelings? Okay, the slides are not changing. I think now is it visible? Maybe I have to go back and come, I think, for every slide.
Yes, it's
I hope
visible.
now you can see. Okay. So communication is very pivotal. It plays a pivotal role in all areas of our life. When it comes to marital relationship, it's all the more important because you're going to have something called one-to-one communication, right? I have seen or I have heard about couples who stay together as couples, but they never really communicate. Each one is busy in their own world, own domain, own career. It feels like as though they're just roommates who are just inhabiting that particular place for some time. Very rarely they communicate. It's just they're busy with their mobile phones or their laptops. And I understand life is really busy. No one is free here. Everyone has a lot of commitment. But the effort you take to communicate is something I think is very basic, and any human being would deserve that kind of space and time. If you feel that that person has to be in your life, you value that person, you that person has taken a space in your life as your partner. It applies even with your children or any other relationship that you have. I would say communication is important. But when it comes to your life companion, definitely it's very important because you need to give the time to ensure that you communicate with them even if they are busy. See, sometimes it happens that we'll be watching out, this happens between couples. If he is not communicating, or if he is not finding time, why should I find time, take effort and communicate? So I won't do that first. So there's a lot of ego issues and clashes that come, but it's perfectly fine. Every time when you take the step to do it, at one point of time it makes a difference, because the effort you take, it will not go unnoticed, it will not go without bearing its results. So expressing feelings openly and respectfully is a very important point in marital relationship under communication, I would say, because whenever you feel low, you are there to share the sorrows and joys of your life with this person. Because why do we call them as their life, as our life partner or life companion? Because we believe life is a journey. We believe life is something that it's not just us alone. We have taken this person who will be with us, who will be coming with us for till the end of our life. That's the belief, right? When marriage happens. So it's very important that you be honest and open with this person, especially with your feelings. Because when you keep bottling up your feelings for a long time without expressing them properly and fully, or completely, it creates a lot of problem. And also at the same time, very respectfully, to ensure that you don't hurt the feelings of your partner. Sometimes very sadly, we might take, or one might take the partner for granted and show all the anger or all the negative feelings. It's okay to feel negative, it's okay to be angry, but the way you express it, you have to be careful. It always finds a way when you sit down and talk with that person. Everything has a way out when you communicate properly. Or when you communicate properly, all the misunderstandings or miscommunications that might have happened earlier actually is removes, or actually becomes a way to be eliminated. Because sometimes certain gestures might go wrong, certain words might take a wrong meaning. We might not have had that intent earlier, but then at that particular situation or circumstances, things would have gone wrong. It's okay, sometimes we mess up, it's fine. Miscommunication happen, it's fine. But there's always a way to patch up things, always a way to sort out things, and that can happen only when at least one person, if not both, one person takes the initiative to communicate. And of course the other person should be willing to talk it out and sort it out, because it takes two, right, to come together. And we put two hands together to clap to bring out a sound. So again, a teamwork. So we need both of them, accepting and giving time and space for this effective communication to happen. Practicing active listening. Normally, in any communication, listening is very, very important, and active listening, because there are certain times when people try to listen to each other. Sometimes we just hear it out. We don't actually take a effort to actually listen, or lend our ears to the other person. It's just hearing and saying yes and moving ahead. But we don't actually see what has to be done or what this person is really expecting. But when it comes to marital relationship, it's very important we practice active listening. I think for any relationship it's important, but all the more for between a husband and a wife, it's very important, because that will tell you how much you value or respect the other person. Because when you listen to them actively with your body language, you can show them that you really care. Whatever he or she is saying, whatever my partner is saying, I really want to value his or her feelings, the needs, and what she really wants from. So that's one thing that you're trying to actually communicate. And then in any communication, as I told you, there are times where, miscommunication can happen. So it's important for us to avoid any assumptions and go ahead clarifying things. It's like asking feedback and checking out whether the communication has happened properly and taking out time to communicate at the first place. As I told you, we are in a busy world. We are attached with our own things, but it is important for us to take this time. Probably every day, you just check how long you go ahead and you communicate with your partner, or what is the time you really give, to talk to your partner. That's very important. And what you really discuss, it's not just the mundane things that you will go ahead and discuss, like, yes, what has to be done. That's definitely there. You people have to plan. You have to. Am I audible? I think someone is talking. Is there any? Can I continue?
Yes, yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Okay,
Continue.
there was some noise that I could hear. Okay, so taking out time, in the sense, having some time, at least in a day, it's really difficult. We go out, each one goes out, both of them are working these days. By the time you come, you're really tired. You don't want to take some more time to go ahead and talk. So if you think about me, I'm in the teaching profession. I already talk a lot. And coming home and again, taking some time to talk with my partner is something that I have to take an effort, I have to make a choice to do that. And this talking is not that you do it like, for the sake of doing it, or just for the same things that you talk again and again. Probably it's something that you would want to really share, like how the day went, and is there any significant thing that you want to share, or just asking questions like, how was your day? You had your food? Did everything go well with you? These are the things that any human being would love to be asked, right? Because at the end of the day, we are all going through our own tough times. And of course, as a life partner, we would want to ensure that our partner is doing well. And that is seriously, we are the well wisher for them, want to see them thrive and succeed. So ensure that you show those through your questions, your thoughts, your words, and your basic communication, which is very important. And one more thing we need to, think about while we are this, of course, I'll be discussing when I talk about love languages, but then spending time together, spending meaningful time. For example, we don't have, as after the couples get married, it's in the initial stage, there's a lot of romance, love, and they put in a lot of effort to understand each other. It's just happy start, but then as time goes by, there's a lot of things that will make us busy. So we start focusing on other things and we forget to give meaningful time for each other. So it's very important couples give time to each other, spend meaningful times, prioritizing date nights, and engaged in activities where you can share your hobbies. Probably find out your common areas of interest and leisure time activities, because somewhere you need to be involved in an activity which will have both of you together, right? For example, if a couple, one person is in a completely different field, or another person is in a different career, they don't have anything in common. But then after they come home, there should be some activity that they do together, right? Probably the couples enjoy cooking, or they enjoy cleaning the house together, where they can share their work and at the same time also have each other's presence at that time. So figure out maybe the chores or the work or any passion that you would, have in common, and ensure you indulge in that activity often, so that the time you give together, becomes more meaningful. Handling conflicts constructively. See, when we say marriage, it's two different individuals coming together. And of course, when two individuals are there are a lot of difference of opinions. There is difference of choices, the way they value certain things, culture, tradition, everything is different. Of course, there may be many common points of convergence, but I would say there will be differences. You can't say both will be same. And I would say if both are going to be same in everything, it's going to be quite boring, right? So two different people coming together, it will be a very healthy relationship. Of course, there might be arguments, but it can turn out to be healthy arguments as well. So managing disagreements and conflicts effectively is something very important. Whenever a problem comes, whenever a conflict comes, it's not that you versus I. couples start blaming each other instead of pulling themselves together against the problem. It's both of us against the problem. It should be like that. It's not each of us against, both of us against each other. So you should take your stand very carefully and see to that you fight out against a problem together. So at the end of the day, it should be nothing should shake to the togetherness, the unity of the couple. Anything that comes to trouble or disturb this unity is something the couple have to fight it out together and shouldn't put something, in between them and start fighting with each other. I think this is the basic mistake which happens in every relationship, and that's where many separations and divorces unfortunately happen. So use I statements to express concerns. Take break when emotions are high. See, I wouldn't say couple won't fight at all. They are bound to fight. They are bound to have arguments, conflicts. Yes, there are times one person gets extremely angry and it's difficult to calm down the person, or one person never, takes the time to understand the other one, or the arguments get heated up and it becomes sometimes a bit worse and messy. That's fine. Emotions do play a part in our life. It's okay to take a break and give some time and talk about it instead of allowing that hatred to develop its way and create a rift, a permanent rift between the couples. Building mutual trust and respect. I think, of course, love is the most central thing that any couple will need for a good marital relationship. With love comes a lot of trust and respect. See, of course, you will love your partner. If you love your partner, you have to trust them. And anyone whom you love or trust definitely will respect that person. You won't take that person for granted, right? So that comes with a lot of respect when you have to value your partner. So keep promises and be dependable. There are certain times I see one of the husband or wife, they just take the other person for granted. They might promise something, but they won't turn up doing it. And it'll be like, oh, it's my husband only, or just it's my wife. She will. It's okay. The next time I can do it for her. Like this, things keep getting repeated often. You just take it for granted. You know, it's like it's been probably after 5 years of marriage or 10 years, you know that you can always patch up, you can come up together. It's like, you can take it easily, but this shouldn't be the way out. Because I have seen when people, especially when people are in it's a love marriage, they take so much of effort before their marriage, right, to have an appealing look, or make sure that they have an ensure that they influence their couple, or make sure that they feel that they give this nice feeling that you can always be with me, because you really value them and you want to end that relationship in marriage, right? So you do everything to make the other person happy, and you're a little bit worried whether this person will accept for marriage, and all the dating that happens, everything. You see there's a lot of respect and love and things like that. But once marriage happens, like after a couple of years or after even 5 or 6 years, I could see this kind of love dwindling, and slowly there is love, but then maybe there is a feeling that yes, we have got married and we have been put together in life for a long time. So what is the need to be still, romantic, or make sure that, you hold on to this person, make them feel special or something? It's like we are always going to be with each other. But that's not actually the way marriage works out, right? It's like you have to value that person, ensure that you make that person, your partners, feel special every day of your life. It's not just because the marriage has happened from your love relationship, you've got married, not necessary, or you expect that person to be in your life throughout. Life being life, which is short, which is quick, anything can happen, we know. Why don't you, trust? Why don't you cherish those moments, the little moments, and ensure that you turn out to make that your partner, that the person in your life, be more special for you every day. It's not that you wait for another day or take things granted or feel that it's just my husband, it's just my wife. It's like, think about the lover phase, the loving phase, I would say, the romantic phase. Why should it lose its charm and luster is something that I always have in mind. And if it doesn't lose it happens. I would say, to be very frank, the boredom comes because initially we get to see each other in a pre-marriage phase, if it's seeing the other person, and then after marriage, after many years, after children, it's like we know everything about the other person. There's nothing new that we won't know. So the romance part of it is not very thrilling. So it's like, yeah, it's my husband, I know everything about him. My wife, I know everything about her. It's like kind of have a situation where we lose interest with each other. But then we should come up with ways where we can make life more interesting. Keep exploring different things together, is what I would tell. Because I think apart from career, where not necessarily both the husband and wife will have the same interest. If they have the same interest, well and good. It again gives a platform to could come together and make the relationship stronger. Even otherwise, try to explore and see what can be done, what are the things that you can do together to reinvent your life together in a meaningful way. Because of course, you imagine you carry yourself with you. It's yourself which is going to come with you throughout your life, but you're never bored with yourself, right? You love yourself a lot. You take care of yourself. It's the same self, it's the same person. As I age also, I still embrace myself. Yes. If I get very old, will I hate myself? No, right? The changes I go through physically, emotionally, still I love myself because it's me. Same way, it's my partner. There are changes my partner will be going through. There are changes which will happen, but still I love him. I love her because it's my partner and we are going to be together. We are going to explore a lot together in this life. So that should be the mentality. So be honest and transparent. That is one of the ways to build trust, obviously. Any insecurities come up, ensure that you openly communicate with each other. And again, taking effort to develop mutual trust and respect is very important. Nothing comes without taking effort, right? So I have come across this quote which says love is not just a feeling, it's a commitment. And anything, if it's a commitment, it will take a lot of effort. And just having a feeling for someone, yes, I want to love you, I want to be with you, it's not just in words, it's not just in showing the feelings. Of course, it's all there, but the commitment is something which will show the effort that you actually take. Your actions will show that you really love that person. I can have so much of love for my husband, my partner, but if I don't show it in my actions at all, how will he know that I am still loving him? Probably he might be someone who's expecting a lot of things to be shown out in way of my actions to prove that I love him. It is a normal need of any human being to know that my partner loves me. So that I'll be talking about in the upcoming slides where I'll be discussing about the love language. So expressing love and appreciation. So if you see the things, the terms that I'm mentioning, love, trust, respect, appreciation, they're all interconnected. I've changed the slide. I hope you are able to see. So expressing love and appreciation is very, very important in a marital relationship. And it is something that can be done with basic things, routine life that you can actually start doing. It's not that you're going to do something like yearly once. I've seen couples surprising each other for their anniversary or for their birthday. And that's it. It's like the rest of the days, 364, 363 days, they don't do anything actually. Of course, special days have to be made special, agree. But then every day you need not go and, buy a gift or surprise that person. But in the way you actually take effort, the way you behave to them, the way you show your warmth and love to them is something that can happen every day in a very different way. You can keep showing that and ensuring that you do all these things because you still love them, you still value them. To be loved and to be valued is something that a person would really want to have, especially that's a need of a partner. Love is the need. The second one is, yes, I know my partner values me so much. That gives me such a good feeling. It makes me feel so special. This is something any person would expect between partners. It's definitely a much needed thing. So showing love daily through your words and action, giving compliments and showing gratitude, being thankful for that person who's in your life, physical affection, actions like a hugging or holding hands, cuddling, being together, showing that warmth through your action, celebrating each other's achievement. Of course, we go through different parts when it comes to a career, goals or dreams. We make sure we check each other, how we are performing, helping out each other if possible in whatever possible ways, and celebrating each other's success, encouraging each other to achieve their goals. Very important, both of them should grow together. Earlier in one of my presentations, I spoke about self-love. When you love yourself, you would love to see yourself growing. So when you love your life companion, you would love to see him or her growing, right? Growing not just physically, I would say, more in achieving their dreams, right? Intellectual growth, right? Spiritual growth, ensuring you're pushing them ahead. Whatever encouragement or whatever actions from your side that will help them to grow closer towards their goals, and celebrating their success. Maintaining individuality while nurturing the relationship. Of course, you have your individual space, individual goals, dreams. You go ahead and achieve that. You ensure you help your partner also does the same. So the self-love that you give to your own self is something that you have to ensure your partner also gets that love from you. Because I believe partner is a part of yourself. That's the belief I have. If I love myself, if I don't hate myself, I can't hate my partner. I can't say I hate my partner and I can say I can love myself, right? It's like that. You should see your partner as a part of yourself. And it's responsibility of each other to ensure both of them, go as a team in this journey of life and achieve great things and be happy for each other and be thankful for each other. Importance of love languages. Now, let me go into love language, which is something which will be the core for today's presentation. So, each person expresses and receives love differently. So, first, we need to understand that one thing that we go wrong is we express or love and we expect the other person to express it in the same way or receive the love in the same way, which is not going to happen. See, when we come together in marriage, that person would have been brought up in a different environment, different family system. Probably the person would have had issues with his parent. There might be some, we won't know. They will come with their own package, right? So we need to understand, take some time to see what kind of person they are, what kind of love they would receive, and what they will actually have, the way they will express their love. What is their, identifying the type is very important. Once you start identifying that, you can go ahead and see how you can actually express love to this person and what you can actually expect from this person. So knowing your partner's love language is very important. It will strengthen the marital relationship. It will improve the communication and strengthen the emotional bond. Apart from being physically connected with your partner, very important, you should be emotionally connected. You should ensure that you have your partner in your mind, right? Of course, marriage is not just, it's just a physical or sexual intercourse or physically two bodies coming together. It's like carrying your partner's love, your partner's welfare, or your partner's life in your mind so that you are concerned about them. You ensure that they are feeling happy, they are safe emotionally and physically with you. So, and also, using proper love languages, making use of love language helps to aid in conflict resolution. And emotional bond is definitely something that will always be strengthened when it comes to using effective love language. So here are the types of love language that I've put. And it's something, if you see, these 5 types are very basic and something which is very common, which can be done in a routine life. Everyday life is very important. We are saying that marital marriage is something which goes years together, but to build a strong relationship which was going to be with us for years together, these are the little things that we have to focus on. So words of appreciation, words of affirmation. Words have a lot of power. As I started with the power of communication, right? Communication is nothing but using effective words, right? When you use the proper words, you create a lot of impact. And when you use words of affirmation, you're expressing your love and affection through spoken words. You're praising that person, your partner. You're appreciating your partner. See, if your partner is someone who will need this kind of a love language, they'll always be very happy to hear such words from you, such encouragement and such love notes, and saying that I love you, I'm there with you, I'm standing by your side, you can do this, you can achieve this. These particular set of people who are moved or propelled ahead in life by this affirmation is very important for you to find out which type of love language your partner really like. And I prefer all the 5 types. I think it's all 5 is needed. No one would say this one is important over the other. But certainly if you see, particular type of relationships, you will know your partner is more inclined towards one particular love language. So for anyone, I think words do magic. Words heal also. So sometimes if we find out that our partner comes from a very an environment that has wounded them a lot, hurted them a lot, their parents weren't, supportive, or some way they had a strained relationship in their own personal family. You see, they come with a lot of personal wounds. What you can do is actually start healing them through your love. And that love is expressed through proper words of affirmation and appreciation. So, for example, just sending a message to your partner, complimenting them when they look really good, or encouraging them, sending a text saying that I'm there for you. No, these are little things that you can do on a daily basis. At least not if not on a daily basis, at least twice in a day. You can send in love messages, even if you're married for more than 10 years or 15 years, it's fine. It's nothing wrong. It makes you feel young when you carry that love and charm. And these words are something that will be it is so nice to, see this kind of a message from your partner. Of course, we receive a lot of messages. We communicate with so many of the other people in our life, right? Every day we communicate a lot. And do you think all communication is making us happy? Definitely no, right? Sometimes we get irritated when we talk to our colleagues, or when we are in our work front. We get a lot of pressurized feeling when we see certain people talking to us, right? It's always the workload, it's always the commitments that you have to do. But out of this, imagine a partner sending you a message that, a love message or something that really makes you feel that, it should bring a smile to you when you see that message. Yes, this message is something that I really needed out of all that hustle, out of all that, hurry burry going around me. This message from my husband is like, really brought in a lot of peace and happiness or something like that. But unfortunately, it happens the other way around. Sometimes even the worst thing is more than the pressure or more than the stress you get from the work front or from the people out there. It's like from your partner, when you get a message, it's sometimes very irritating because it's like, again, starting to picking a fight or coming up with unnecessary arguments or something that has happened long time, miscommunication and all these things. So your partner's communication shouldn't be something that will add more worry or pressure to you. It should be something that will make you to unburden all the other pressures and other stress. So that's how words have to be used. Next is quality time. I think quality time I already discussed, and making yourself available for your partner. Ensure that you give your full presence when you're together. Not just, sometimes I see, it happens, or even people complain when they talk to me about their marriage experience, the marriage life, that the husband or the wife is always on cell phone. When she or she's talking to me also, she's constantly checking the messages or connected with the phone, which is not actually good, right? So I don't think that is the way you show another person, your companion, that you value them, right? So if you're really having a special feeling for that person, you ensure that you give yourself fully, your full attention to them, and that moment is between you and that person, and no phone or not even other person. Ensure that you get that us time together so that you can share your thoughts. The undivided attention is very important, and that's what makes the presence more meaningful and interactive. So not using mobile phone, turning off the computer, and ensure you make eye contact with your partner, thoughtfully interacting and actively listening. All these body gestures are very important when you express that, yes, I am there for you fully today, that particular time. I'm going to be with you. So this quality time, lack of quality time is something which acts as a, trigger for separation, right? Because when you don't spend time physically with your partner, when you're not just there with them, giving yourself fully into that particular time and space, how do you expect that person to understand you? How do you expect the relationship to be more stronger? So that's more important. Physical touch is another form of love language. It's apart from having sex or sexual intercourse. You need to feel loved when your partner holds your hand, touches your arm, or gives you, a gentle pat. These are all things that can be done on a daily basis, right? It's making you feel the warmth and appreciation of the other person, your companion. So, wonderful date night, a surprise, maybe monthly once, or not just planned, but anytime I just thought of giving you a surprise, I'm going to take you out. Imagine after having a heavy workload filled day, just getting a surprise like that from your partner. How much of positive impact it's going to bring on you? You'll feel so thankful, right? It has happened to me. I've experienced. So at times when I feel very overly, I'm dumped with a lot of work, and if my husband gives me a surprise, I'm like, I could never forget the day in my life. It was much needed break for me that he had actually anticipated and planned for me. It wasn't my birthday or it wasn't special, but just I thought of doing it for you. This is how you come up with surprises. This is how you come up with certain things to make your partner feel happy, or give that kind of space for them to unburden themselves. Acts of service. When I talk about marriage, I think service is something that doesn't come to mind at all, right? Many time it's like it's the ego there, who's going to talk first or who will do this work first. It's like one always, against the other, or who does a lot, or how much of thing one should do. It's whether 50-50 or dividing the work, sharing the responsibility, something that we do. But then doing service to the other person, acts of service based on love, is something very appreciable and something that strengthens the bond. So, for example, helping your partner with the dishes or running errands, cleaning the house. It's not just the gender role, right? A woman alone should be doing all this. If a man steps out to help his wife in all of this, there's so much of love that will start actually coming inside, and so much of respect and love will start, increasing between them. So if your partner is someone who's looking for such acts of service, you will see them, they will thank you for all the little things that you keep doing for them. They will appreciate all the little things you do for them. And this act is based on kindness and service. It's not a mandatory thing that, you will do this, I will do this. It's like some houses are like that, right? These are the works you have to find. You share the responsibility, fine. But one day, if I'm not able to do, one day, if one of the partners is not able to do, the other person is doing it fully, it's fine. Marriage is never 50-50. And you can't say sometimes one partner is able to give 100%, the other person is not able to give anything at all, but it's still fine. At the end, it's 100. It's not just each person's contribution, it's the total contribution. So there are changes, there are fluctuations which will happen, but it's perfectly fine. You should not give up on each other. That's very important. Receiving gifts, again, giving surprises. And this is someone, who would actually love to see you surprising them with gifts, or, showing a lot of care for them, and the effect you actually take in, picking out something for them which they really like. Say they enjoy receiving gifts as a part of their love language. Of course, it need not be very large or expensive presents, right? It's the effort and the thoughtfulness that you really go behind gifting a person. For example, if I see my partner is not having one particular, or he or she likes something, he's expressing it to me, probably not in a way that he wants it from me. Probably he says, okay, it's so nice. Like that, he might say, my husband says, I'll note it down and I might gift that thing to him if it's possible for me to afford it on his birthday or on our anniversary, which is again another surprise. And there are a lot of options today. We have these customized gifts, and many thoughtful gifts are being designed for couples, I should say, these days. So go ahead and pick one of them. It's not just the grandness of the gift, it's your love, it's your thoughtfulness, I would say, in picking out such customized, little gift for your partner, which will actually make them treasure that, right? I used to see some couples, they ensure that they have all these gifts carefully. It might be even a small note that you're writing for your partner along with the gift. It all makes a lot of difference. It's not always in the grandness, I would say, not the money that you really put in, but the effort that you really take, the choice that you really make in presenting something very special to your partner, something your partner would really love to have from you, something he or she wouldn't have expected, right? That's a surprise element that you would give. So how to identify your partner's love language? So it depends, like, I would say it takes some time to understand a person. And I think for marriage, it keeps taking a long time because we go through changes, we grow together, we go through things together. So as we go through many things, we also grow, we also change. Appreciating each other's change, embracing each other's change is very important. But one important thing is to identify the love language of your partner, which is very, very important in taking forward the relationship in a healthy manner. So, in a relationship, if you feel more loved, how do you know that your partner is having a particular inclination towards a love language? So he or she always tells you, I love you, or praises something you did. Then there's a word of affirmation and appreciation he or she expects. So surprises you with a meaningful gift, or your partner is planning a trip for just two of you suddenly, runs the errands and does the laundry, that's acts of service, holds your hand while walking. This is a physical touch, right? So you can obviously know what is their inclination, but I would suggest you can make use of all the five love languages. Each one is beautiful, and each one is equally essential for strengthening the relationship. So when you find out the particular inclination your partner has, you will be able to track the love language he or she is being really loves to have, and you can show more of it. Of course, you need not avoid the other love languages. You can make use of all the five, but ensure that you are aware of which love language your partner really want to. And I would say over the years, if you are able to make use of all the five, with the attention, more attention paid to the one language your partner would actually, love to have or love to experience, that's particularly very great. Here, there's this thing which shows you the types of intimacy, and it clearly tells you it requires effort and attention. So we have this emotional intimacy, respect, validity, empathy, communication, trust, vulnerability. So it's okay to feel vulnerable also. At times we feel, initial stages of marriage, we really worry whether we can express ourselves fully to this person. Of course, it's a love marriage, might be a lot of comfort is there. When it's arranged marriage, it does take time to understand each other. But then you should be able to be vulnerable and show them that, yes, this is my weakness. Yes, and that weakness is where I need your strength, is where I need your support a lot. And of course, physical intimacy, it's just not sexual intercourse. It's not more than that. It's like everyday physical touch, like cuddling, holding hands, nurturing touch. All this is very important, which shows an affirmation, or it shows the other person that yes, my marriage, my husband or my wife loves me, and I know that he or she is there with me, and that kind of an affirmation is something that will give a lot of positive energy to move ahead. Intellectual intimacy is where you come together in deep conversation with certain topics, certain themes that you both really love to enjoy and explore. And there's a lot of opinions and beliefs that you have in common. Maybe some creative works you would love doing together and exploring things together. Spiritual intimacy, where you have a common faith or religion that puts you together. You believe those values, tradition, and you go ahead with this. You have certain morals and ethics that you follow together. And experiential intimacy, again, both of you have shared experiences. For example, I would say in my life, I love traveling a lot, and my husband also does the same thing. Both of us ensure that we travel a lot and create a lot of memories. So we find what we really love to do together, which is very important, which keeps a marriage alive and new every day. So because at the end, it's like doing a lot of things together is what we believe, makes a good memories. Of course, life itself is a memory. When you turn back and see everything is memories saved up, whether it's good or bad, it's in our hands to make it up. So trying new things, and even when it's a routine life which can end up in boredom, fatigue, or the same monotonous thing again and again, what you guys can actually do together, any one part of the day where you can come together and do something interesting, you can go ahead with that. Adventures together and having a consistent, shared communication with each other, all this will come under experiential intimacy. So love language, I think for all the types of intimacy that we saw, love language plays a very important role. It helps us to learn and understand the differences. Once you embrace the differences, you understand the differences, it becomes easy for you to go ahead and create a meaningful relationship. When you ensure that your love language is strong, it promotes a lot of selflessness. It creates empathy. It helps you to maintain the intimacy with your partner, the types of intimacy we already saw. And it helps in personal growth and helps you to share love in meaningful ways. I think when we're not able to share love in meaningful ways, when you're not able to show it in proper ways, or expect it to be shown in ways that you would have already, thought of, is what creates problems, right? So you sit down, you understand what your partner would really want, and you get to know how far you're traveling, and you understand how your relationship has been with each other. Sometimes we bottle up a lot of feelings, we don't even talk about it to others. It's like it's okay, we don't talk about others, it's fine. You don't talk about it to your own companion, or sometimes our life partner will not even know that we have been going through all this. So it's very important for us to share everything and ensure that each of us know each of us very well. That is more important, because I've seen even after 5 years or 10 years, the husband will not know what the wife really likes to eat or likes to wear. This is not, something you should be knowing about the other person so very well. You know what are your likes and dislikes. But unfortunately, sometimes self love is also lacking. So only when you love yourself truly, you'll be able to love your partner truly, is what I feel. So if you are struggling to love your partner truly, you should see how far you're able to love yourself. Because the whole idea of struggling with love is something, puts relationship in a shaky situation, which shouldn't be happening. So having said this, I would love to conclude my presentation with this wonderful quote. It says life is a crazy ride. It's a privilege to go through it with a partner. So why would I call it, why is it called a crazy ride? Filled with uncertainties. You don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know the ups and downs. You don't know anything which is going to happen. It's a roller coaster ride, right? So when you are in this ride, which is crazy, which will drive you mad, which will make you cry one day, which will make you laugh one day, it's a privilege, it's a honor to have a companion to go through in this life. And when you have that honor and privilege, you have to treat it like a honor and privilege and not take it for granted. So some of the key words from the beginning that I've been, sharing or I've been enforcing would definitely be effort, understanding, taking effort to understand, taking effort to communicate, taking effort to show love. Love can be the simple word, just a simple four-letter word, but it's the most complicated thing. Each one expresses it differently, each one feels it differently, each one goes through it differently. Understanding the difference and embracing the difference and expressing it in a way where both of them can connect is something what makes a marital relationship more meaningful. So, with this, I would like to conclude and take any questions if they are.
I guess there is no other question from the participants. participants, but I want to ask a question, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, after just, watching all these slides, I have that one question that many couples unknowingly fall into patterns of emotional dependency, where one partner's happiness or self-worth becomes overly tied to the other. So, how can couples recognize and break free from this dynamic while still maintaining a strong and loving connection?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I've touched that point earlier. To maintain that balance between your personal space, your individuality, and that togetherness that you have, right? See, it happens, and I should be frank, it happened with me as well. Because personally, I lost my mother, I was attached with her. So after marriage, I was somewhat holding on so tightly to my husband, and it was that emotional dependency, I should say. But then I grew out of it. I understood. At the end of the day, your partner is an individual. You need to know that first. He or she will need space. It's not that you can always go with them. Although they are your company, they're going to come with you. They have their space where they do things individually. They can do with their friends. Of course, you should be their priority. That's what I actually feel. But then they have their own space to explore, own space to connect with other people as well. So respecting that space, and I won't say you give them the freedom. It's an individual freedom that the partner has, which has to be allowed even after marriage. No way you can go and intrude them in that freedom. And coming to that emotional dependency, it's quite a few of them do experience that because maybe probably in the very beginning after get married it happens that you love there's so much of love and automatically the dependency comes, so it'll take some time for you to understand. Probably one thing that I would say, and I would have heard about this from Sudha Murthy and Narayan Murthy, who are like the couples that all of us must be knowing with the number of books that comes out from Sudha Murthy. I recently read their book written by Chitra Banerjee Devakar, Nidan Common Love Story. So when I read that book, what I felt is keeping each of us busy in our own personal front is very important, right? So when I am also focused on my career and my growth, and that my partner is also focused, it's not that I'm completely, that will kind of reduce the emotional dependency and ensure that each of us have a individual path to go ahead. But nevertheless, we know that, we are aware of what's happening in each one's life. We don't, that emotional dependency should not be something that will end up controlling my part. That's one important thing. Because when you're emotionally dependent, you will start controlling, you will want your part, you want updates, like, everything what's happening in your partner's life. And that's something which will feel very suffocating and choking for the other person. That freedom, that space has to be given. And that's the sign of a healthy marriage, healthy relationship. And if a person is struggling from that emotional dependency, I think it'll take some time. We can work on, the other person can experience. If that person is experiencing, they can express it in a way that does make the other partner understand, yes, I am feeling a bit choked or suffocated in this relationship because of this dependency. They can always work out a way together. And I think mostly emotional dependency will happen due to some reasons. Probably for my case, I told you, the attachment I had with my mother was cut down unexpectedly, and I was showing it to my husband. Probably he found it out and he was able to sort it out with me and make me understand, yes, this is how it's going into our relationship. And that moment I also understood, yes, maybe I am taking a lot of making him feel a lot of being always around him, and I'm not giving that space. And then it's like growing, the maturity happens as you keep traveling together. I think I have other questions.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
How
ma'am,
to
for your
and
answer. Yeah.
Okay, how to
How to
understand your
understand
partner,
your part.
and how to explain what I want to say in all relationships. Understanding takes effort. See, I would say how much ever I say this, it's not that you can say that I'm 100% aware of my partner or any individual. Understanding is a process, Sadhvi Kumari, I should say. It takes it will take time, and it takes effort, and you need to give it some time to understand. It's not going to happen over days time. Understanding a person even takes a lot of years, but have that patience to understand, and in the process of understanding, show a lot of love, I would say. Don't come to judgment very quickly. Just understanding from one perspective, which is not actually good or not advisable. You should look into the 360 degree and see how the person reacts. You should understand the person's emotions, how he or she is reacting to particular things. So it's a process. So give it time, take some effort. And during this process, I would say have a lot of patience and show a lot of love and clearly communicate. Okay. That will also help a lot in building the relationship. What you want to say, express, it's okay. Just say it. Sometimes it might also end up in, a fight or something. It's fine. Instead of having it with you, you express it. When you express it, I think you unwind yourself a lot, and you're also able to understand what how the other person would react. That's what I say. I will say, even after 10 or 15 years of marriage, I see couples will say, I'm still understanding my partner. What is there to know about the person even after 15 years? You can't say, because you're growing. Changes will happen. Change is what is going to keep happening throughout your life. So take it as a process. And in this process, ensure that you show a lot of love, patience, and keep observing and keep talking, keep communicating openly. That's what I would say is the key to understanding your partner. Are there any other questions?
I think there is no question. Okay, thank you, ma'am. On the behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express my hearty vote of thanks to the excellent speaker, Dr. N. Safreen, ma'am. And today we got the opportunity to listen to an interesting and thought-provoking discussion on understanding your life companion. So the amount of expertise and passion displayed by Dr. Safreen ma'am really enhanced our grasp on the topic. So thank you ma'am for answering all the questions. We really appreciate your
My
excellent
pleasure.
guidance. And once again, I express my gratitude and thanks for sparing time from your hectic schedule to impart information to us. We shall bide our time for further such workshops, and we are really looking into it.